The 1970s and 80s saw the emergence of several neo-Nazi groups in Germany as part of the third phase of right-wing extremism across Europe. Soon after, the collapse of the East German state and consequential high unemployment opened the door for new recruitment opportunities and growing membership for the budding extremist groups across Germany. The next few years were marked by an upsurge in violence against immigrants, a fivefold increase in hate crimes committed by right-wing extremist groups, and expanded media coverage of the extreme right. This was the climate in which the National Socialist Underground was born. The NSU was established in January 1999 by Beate Zschäpe, Uwe Bonhardt, and Uwe Mundlos, three friends who met within the ranks of the NPD before taking an even more radical turn. Zschäpe, Bonhardt, and Mundlos each gravitated towards the embrace of the extreme right following troubled teenage years. The trio began experimenting with explosives in 1996, and in 1997, German authorities issued arrest warrants for the group. The trio subsequently went into hiding and created the NSU, hence the underground in the group's name. The NSU was created with the objective of bringing the demise of the Federal Republic and ushering in a new political order, an order founded on ideas adopted from the trio's days with the NPD. This was a lofty goal for a group with a mere 3 members at its inception. To make their hateful dream a reality, the NSU embarked on a terror campaign that would last from 1999 to 2011 and claim 10 lives. This campaign would include 14 armed robberies, 2 bombings in Turkish neighborhoods in Cologne, and a series of 9 racially motivated murders. The murderous trio were aided by between 100 and 150 associates, but for the most part acted alone. The groups identified themselves as a network of comrades committed to deeds, not words, and indeed, their actions spoke louder than their words. The group's motivations for the series of crimes are still unclear, other than hatred and adherence to an NPD-esque ideology. Heinz Fromm, president of the BFV, the German equivalent of the FBI at the time, even noted that he never really understood the group. The deadly spree of crimes came to an end in November 2011 when Bonhardt and Mundlos committed suicide following a final bank raid. Zschäpe turned herself in to the police shortly after. As the perpetrators of the country's most high-profile unsolved crimes were discovered to be members of a group unknown to the German authorities, the BFV and German government faced a public outcry. The German public found it inconceivable that the NSU was able to exist undetected for over a decade. Additionally, the public would later learn that, at the time of the investigation, the BFV failed to consider the possibility that the NSU string of 9 murders were actually racially motivated. Germans were not only worried about their government's apparent incompetence, but the prospect of groups similar to the NSU emerging from the country's often overlooked extreme right scene. Shortly after Zschäpe turned herself in, Chancellor Angela Merkel stated that she was considering a ban of the NPD, blaming the NSU's underlying ideology on the neo-Nazi group. This ban would never come to fruition. Following a lengthy trial, Beate Zschäpe was convicted on July 11, 2018, of 10 counts of murder and sentenced to life in prison. 5 accomplices of the NSU were also convicted and received varying sentences.
Integrating into Thüringer Heimatschutz and further into Free Kameradschaft, which is free comradeship, they are often part of an unorganized, unified right-wing front. Ideologically, at least some of these free comradeships refer to the Nazi worldview, partially with direct reference to the Nazi era in their military spiritual leadership. They relate positively to the ideology of the political soldier. Xenophobia and nativism are often used in their rhetoric. Often during demonstrations, black flags are worn as a sign of being part of a free Kameradschaft. According to estimates of the Federal Office for the Protection of the Constitution in Germany, there are about 150 regional and super-regional comradeships, with memberships ranging from around 5 to 20. According to Dresden Public Prosecutor's Office, in Saxony alone, there are about 40 free Kameradschafts with a total of 1,800 members. Unlike parties or associations of permanent membership, free Kameradschafts, in which activities are not recorded in any part or club, which would include direct mention by name, are generally not found, and recruiting new members from a circle of acquaintances or rock concerts are instead preferred. A comradeship is harder to ban by the state because of those above reasons. For the political propaganda, members also use topics and set pieces of the political opponent. So this would include anti-GMO, anti-church, and anti-state rhetoric. Another important form of action of free comradeships is political training, which serves as indoctrination and consolidation of the members' views and to place allegiance with them and only with them. There is a prominent one in Wolothrow, which is the Collegium Humanum. Here, prominent neo-Nazis such as Christian Warch often appear. Another popular recruitment stabilizer is training that can be found in remote forest areas, and one of them was shut down in the 1980s, but I can't find any substantial information to permanently decide if they are still in existence or not. And these are only allowed, or membership is only allowed to those that exhibit loyalty and prominence within the party.
Politically, the NSU has not had relevance in terms of their presence in government. Where the NSU has found its relevance has been in the government response to the NSU. Many members of the government have had no problem delegitimizing this group. In 2011, the Attorney General of Germany, Harald Range, called the NSU, quote, a far-right extremist group whose purpose is to kill foreigners and citizens of foreign origin. Considering that their crimes had come to light by then, it comes as no mistake that there are not many politicians who openly support and endorse the NSU. The NSU is seen by the public and government as what it is, a terrorist group. However, the German government found itself embroiled in controversy. There have been many claims of the Federal Office for the Protection of the Constitution, which is essentially Germany's intelligence agency, known as the DFW, having deep connections with members of the NSU. Through many investigations, it has been revealed that the agency has failed to track and properly stop the actions of the NSU. This has turned into one of the biggest scandals in recent history. Chancellor Angela Merkel has referred to the uncovering of this evidence as an ultimate disgrace.
To a shocking extent, there was a total failure of all our law enforcement authorities. The main problem was a lack of cooperation, so we didn't recognize information.
This systemic failure has been the subject of several parliamentary investigations. A number of heads have rolled in intelligence and the police force, but many questions remain unanswered. For example, why did no one believe that right-wing extremists were capable of such crimes?
The uncovering of what the agency did and did not know has been slow to discover. To begin, the case was only brought to the attention and eventual persecution from the government when Zeshep turned herself in after burning up her flat. Many actions began to be unearthed later that shows just how far the scandal went into the intelligence agency. The scandal grew to be so large that it resulted in the resignation of the head of the agency, Heinz Fromm. At first, the agency claimed that these were foolish slip-ups. However, this soon appeared to not be the case. What caught a lot of attention from the public was the actions of Axel Manrath. Minrath destroyed evidence that was directly connected with the actions of the NSU just one day after the NSU's roles in these murders became public, and the agency was requested to carry out a full investigation. It is estimated that Minrath destroyed about 7 files. Another action that showed that the agency may have been able to stop these crimes but chose not to was when the agency admitted that they had one of their agents present in 2006 when the NSU shot dead a 21-year-old Turk in an internet cafe in Kessel. Investigations began into the background of this agent. It was discovered that he had far right-wing beliefs. He was so open about these far right-wing beliefs that his home village gave him the nickname of Little Hitler. Upon raiding his flat, police found excerpts of Mein Kampf. Response from politicians to this misdeed from the agency were not in support. Members of many different parties, including the Christian Democratic Union, Left Party, and Social Democrats, were appalled. Politicians would give reference to the conspiracy theories surrounding the agency's connection. Although they wouldn't directly confirm the theories, they said that terrible actions like these made the theories very hard to dispute and only gave conspiracy theorists more evidence. Clearly, the public was outraged and demanded to know what was going on. The Interior Minister at the time, Heinz-Peter Friedrich, called for a national register of all potentially violent neo-Nazis. He wanted this database to have all information about neo-Nazis, and he wanted it to be easily accessible by all 16 branches of the intelligence agency. In 2012, a year later, Germany did end up creating a centralized database. The structure for this database was based off of ones that existed for Islamic extremism. The Christian Democrat Union and the opposition Social Democrat Party have called for the NPD to be outlawed because of its alleged connections with the NSU. However, this move has been criticized, saying that the best way for the NPD to die would be at the hands of the electorate.